In 1916, the United States rail network reached its greatest extent with over 253,000 miles. However, today there's only around 140,000 miles worth of railway track in the United States. So what happened? Between 1917 to 1920, the United States railway system was nationalised, and during this time it didn't get the proper investment it needed. It was nationalised because of the First World War. And in the 1920s, investors wasn't interested in investing in railways so much anymore. They were more interested in speculative investments and new technologies that were coming through. There's also the rise of the automobiles in the 1920s, and there's also the Great Depression in 1929. And between 1920 and 1941, around 70,000 miles worth of railway track was in receivership. Then comes the Second World War, and this helps the United States Railway. The United States is a manufacturing powerhouse, building tanks, planes, trucks, every military equipment you can think of, and they get travelled on the railway because they're good for transport. And then, however, after the war, it's big issues. There's a lot of optimism in the rail industry, but it doesn't last. In 1949, there's a 28% decrease in rail traffic compared to 1944. In the 1950s, the United States rail system has big issues. Passengers aren't getting on these trains anymore because more people have cars, and this is partially due to more highways being built. And on top of that, some people are getting planes as well. And on the other side, freight travel. Freight is not travelling on trains as much anymore. They're in big trucks, or sometimes even down the canals. However, many of the steam trains are replaced by diesel trains, but the decline continues, and in 1971, Amtrak is made. The States Railway continues into the 1970s, 80s. However, in the 21st century, there's been a pickup of railway passengers getting on the trains again, and also a growth in railway track building, especially in California, but not much has really been built there. There's been talks about happening in Florida as well. And in 2022, Amtrak announced they had a record passenger count. So things are looking up for the industry for trains in the United States. However, it is still a big decline from its heyday.